D too nice. We need you to explain yourself. So it seems like a few of you are having a hard time wrapping your head around what I said yesterday, that Israel Adesanya would not necessarily be an easier fight for Khamzat Chimaev versus him fighting Kamaru Usman. Well, if you're having a hard time, someone called for a doctor, and have no fear, Dr. D Too Nice is here. Some of you guys wanted a little bit more detail on my thoughts when I said that I don't know if I agree with everything Henry Cejudo said about Israel Adesanya being the easiest fight for Khamzat Chimaev when you compare him to Kamaru Usman. So we're going to do a simple breakdown, and I'll give you my thoughts on why I believe that. So starting off with Khamzat Chimaev, he's the UFC's new golden child and possibly even their new cash cow. He typically fights out of the welterweight division, but has been known to cause waves even at middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev is a great striker, showing one-punch knockout power and striking prowess, but he might be an even better wrestler. The biggest problem that he faces right now is finding opponents that are willing to fight him and risk losing or going down in the rankings. So let's get over to his potential opponents. Let's start with Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, who fights out of the welterweight division, the division that Khamzat Chimaev typically fights in. Now, this is the man who says when it comes to mixing things up, he does it better than everybody else. And you got to know that this man not only has a gas tank, but he's a grinder. You've seen it against Colby Covington. We've seen it against Leon Edwards in the first fight. And you've seen it countless times before. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot that Kamaru does well. His striking is very good. His wrestling's probably even better. But are those things that are going to nullify Khamzat Chimaev? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I do believe that if Kamaru gets on the inside and does plant well-placed strikes, it might be very much trouble for a guy like Khamzat. Now, as much as I like Kamaru, here's where it gets a little tricky. When you look at his first fight against Colby, one thing that I didn't like was his inability to get his head off the center line, and he seemed to take strike for strike with Colby Covington. Now, I imagine a guy like that is taking assessment of his opponent's power and ability and is saying, "Hey, I can take these strikes, but for me, I'd love to see someone be a little bit more elusive and not just risk getting knocked out by their opponent." Something to think about. All right, moving on to Israel Adesanya. Israel is as willing to go to war as Kamaru Usman. We're talking about high level fighters that are willing to do what it takes to win a fight. However, Israel, I feel like, is more of that elusive fighter that I was talking about previously and isn't just going to sit there and take strikes from Hashemayev. The biggest thing is his ability to keep an opponent guessing and to mix up his movements and strikes to where an opponent is not going to have the easiest time figuring out what's going on. Another thing is his ability to adjust. So, with that being said, do you agree? Do you not agree? Who do you think wins a fight against Khamzat Chimaev, Israel Adesanya, or Kamaru Usman? And we out.